Hello everyone, my name is Saksham Dikshit and this is my channel Pentest Diary. So today I'll make another video of the same series of Solidity programming series, and in this video I'll try to cover the keyword Payable, which we have used in multiple contract itself, but I just want to make it clear to you why we are using a Payable keyword itself, what's the functionality of it, and what's the need to use it. So everything I'll try to cover in this video itself, and we'll start with the theory part first and then we'll go to the practical section for it. This is an easy concept, but you just have to be very careful about it just to understand it, what's the need of it, Payable. Okay, so we'll start with the theory part first. So the points are very clear about it. So Payable is used to make the address payable, and this is also used to make function payable. So what's the difference between it? Address making a payable, the thing is that when we are making any address payable, so it means whatever the amount we have it inside of the contract that amount we can transfer to that address. That it means, repeat once again, whatever that address, if we're making any address payable inside of the contract, then in that case whatever the amount, whatever the ether we have it inside of the contract, that ether we can transfer it to that address which we make it a payable inside of that function, okay, inside of that contract. Now if I'm talking about the next section for it, if we are making functions as a payable itself, then in that case what's happening? So if anything like we are making any function as a payable, it means that contract is capable enough to get the ether, to receive the ether. So if we want to transfer some amount to any contract itself, then we can do that as we have make our one of the function making a payable, and due to that our contract can have a capability to accept the ether from external source itself. So we can transfer the amount from the sources to directly to the contract itself. So that means if we have that function as a payable, and in case if we have the address as a payable, then in that case bit clear, like we can transfer the amount from our contract directly to the address. Okay, now if we're talking about other concept for it, in case of a function we can write payable after the public itself. That's most important also, but in case of address we need to use payable before public. So it means like in case of function we can use payable before public also and after public also, but in case of address, when we are defining any address to be a payable, then at the time we have to make sure that we have to use the payable before the public. At the time of defining it, at the time of initializing it, we have to be get it defined that payable before that. Okay, now there's a difference between a constructor and the function also, which we have to discuss in at the time of the code itself when we are seeing it, but I just want to make it very clear over here itself. What's the need of making a constructor as a payable, and what's the need to make a function? Why can't we make our constructor as a payable? We can do that, but why only with the constructor only we can't make it a payable, and why we are requiring the functions to be a payable itself? So the need is that the constructor can be get it triggered once at the time of the deployment. We can use it constructor as a payable, but if I'm talking about our function itself, after the deployment also we can use the function later on also. So it doesn't need a one-time deployment. If we require only one time to be get it utilize a payable keyword, then in that case we can use it constructor as a payable. But the thing, if we require the functions to be a payable and require later phases also, so definitely we require a function to be a payable itself. That's the difference between it. Now there are three things which I just want to make it clear about it, about the colors of the, like at the time when you are deploying it. So there are three type of color which you are identifying it over here itself. So if after compiling and if you get it deployed that, and if the after the deployment in the contract itself, if you are seeing on a remix ID the color become red of the button, whatever the button you're seeing over there, just to get it execute, then in that case it means that red color indicates the payable. If I'm talking about the blue, if the blue color is coming over there itself, it means a view, it becomes a pure, or the state, it indicating these sections for it. If I'm talking about the yellow, it looks like a simple transaction function itself, so nothing to worry about it. So just be aware about it. If it's a red, then definitely make sure that wheresoever you are seeing it as a red, then in that case it means that payable, something payable related stuff be there itself. Okay, now I think a lot of things I have covered. It's straightforward from my side. Now I think we have to go ahead further with the practical portion, see the actual code of it and what exactly things we have to cover in that section for it. I'll cover the same stuffs over there itself which we have discussed about it. So let me go to the system now and showcase you how exactly the code will run and how we utilizing the payable function inside of it. So proceeding further with the practical portion itself, so this is the actual code which I have created for the payable section for it, and I'll just correct the statement which I have used it for the query part itself. So payable is not a function, it's a keyword which we are using it just to make our function or the address be payable itself. Okay, so that's not a function. Now I'm proceeding further with that. So this is a straightforward syntax which we are using it. Over here itself the contract name is payable. Now this is the address which we are making it as a payable itself. So make sure whatever the variable we are defining it, we have to get it, if make it that also as a payable, and whatever that address which we want to be get it, make it as a payable, that also we have to make it as payable. So over here itself payable function keyword we have to use it at two places. One, at the time of using defining a username, like whatever the variable we are defining it, we have to make it that as a payable, and make sure that it should be before the public, not after the public itself. At the time of defining it payable variable, at the time of defining it as a state variable itself, so make sure that it should be get defined before the public, and then after that whatever the address we wanted to be make it payable, then that should be payable. So if we are not using the payable keyword over here itself, this will not work and we are getting the error, as it's want us to make it a payable itself. Okay, I hope this clear to you now. Once again I'll go further with that, and this is a constructor which we are defining it. So as I've already discussed about it, constructor also we can make it as a payable itself. So at the time of the deployment we can use the constructor as a payable itself, and we can transfer the ether to our address to our contract itself. We can do that. Now proceeding further, there are two functions we are building over here itself. Okay, so one function we are making as a payable, and the another function we are making as not like this is nothing related with the payable itself. We are just using it just to check the balance for it. Okay, so if we proceeding further with that, then in that case what exactly we have to do it. So taking example, I'm just defining the name of that function itself. This is making a payable, and as I can use it before the public also and after that also if I want it. Then after that, if I'll just want to check like what exactly is coming under this is just a checking part itself. So and one more thing which I forgot to tell you, like pure in the view we can't use it over here itself, as we are changing something inside of the blockchain, so we do not have to use a view in the pure over here itself, as we are changing it over here itself. We are just checking it, we are not changing anything in the blockchain. That was the reason I'm using a view over here itself, and I want the output to be written it back. So that was the reason I'm defining as unsigned integer over here itself. Whatever the output I'm getting as in the content of number itself I'm getting it, that's the reason behind it. The amount balance we are getting it. Now over here itself, this is also one of the keyword which we have to use it as syntax itself. So over here itself, whatever that address which we are telling it, for that address whatever the balance, that we have to return it back. So this keyword will return it the balance of the address. So whatever the address is getting mapped over here itself, that address to be get whatever the balance is it. So balance to be get it identified by that way only. So we are transferring the amount to a contract. So that address be over here itself, that address with dot balance keyword itself, we can retrieve the balance of that contract address itself. Okay, so whatever that is, understand the keyword very well. Address on which we are deploying it, that we have to check the balance for it using this function. Okay, let me compile the code for you and let me get it deployed that. So I'll just try to do it by all the ways. So first is deployed with using our constructor. So if I'm just defining it over here itself, 5 ether. It is too much, I think I just have to use 5 Okay, this is also one of the unit for it. I'll just try to transfer this using deploy. Okay, let me get it deployed. This work. Now if I'll try to check the balance, I can able to see it's 5. I'm seeing it over here, it's a 5 itself. I have the balance like 5. So this is done. Now we can't do anything with the constructor anymore, right? Now if I'm talking about the next section for it, which we have the function over here, it's new ETH. Now for that, if I want to transfer more amount to our contract, then in that case how we can do that? So as we have make it this function as a payable itself, what it means like the whole contract having capability to receive the money, receive the ether. So that was a functionality. We can achieve it as we are defining any function as a payable inside of the contract. That contract can receive the ethers directly. So that was the thing we'll try to get it achieved. So if I'll try to put 5 once again and I'll click on new ETH, that is a function coming under that contract payable. Let me click on it. Once I click on it, if I'll try to check the balance once again, I can see it's become 10. So that was the reason. So that's a difference. Once like constructor, we can utilize it at the time of the deployment. We can transfer some amount to our contract, but if we want to do it later on also, so we have to define one of the functions to be a payable. By that way we can transfer amount to the contract also. And if I'll just later phase itself, if I want to check that this is the user address on which we can do that amount will get it transfer itself. Okay, so that is all about the stuff which we want to. We can transfer it again and again and can see the balance. So as it's already done, it's 0 over here itself, so nothing like that over here, nothing we can do it over here itself. Okay, I hope like it's clear to you now. If I'll just try to get it, modify a few things over here itself, that's also one of the things. Like if I'll just try to put payable after that, that's also one of the, you can see the error which is not allowed. So that's one of the thing. So overall, if I'll just give it a summary about it, what exactly the payable keyword is exactly is doing it over here itself. We can make an address and the functions payable. If we want to transfer some amount to a payable address from our contract where we are deploying it, then in that case we can do that, making an address as a payable. If we want to transfer amount to the contract, so in that case we required one function to be a payable inside of the contract where we want to transfer the amount. Okay, that's one of the concept for it. And the limitations, everything I've already told you about it. Even in my notes in the blog, you can able to get those details about it. I hope it's clear to you now. Even if still you are having a doubt, just let me know about it in the comment section of this video itself. And other than that, if you want to understand more concept about it, please let me know in the comment section of the video what are the new concepts we wanted. I'll try to cover all the concepts before concluding this series, and then I'll move to the next section for it. So thank you so much once again. Take care. Bye bye.